What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're going to be previewing round 20, Port Adelaide versus Collingwood at the MCG this Saturday afternoon at 1:15 p.m. It's going to be one of those games where we rock up to the G and don't know what to expect, with Collingwood coming off a 8-run streak of finishing games and winning games by less than 2 goals. They've been on a fantastic run, and they're coming up against a Port Adelaide side that's been a pretty competitive outfit for the last 10 weeks or so as well, but haven't been quite as in form as we'd like. And I think for Port Adelaide's sake, this game is just a bit of a turn of heads type game where we look to make a bit of a statement. Not that it's going to mean much for the season, but there's still 4 games to pan out and 4 games we have to finish off. So this one is a part of it, and this one actually becomes pretty important, and I think a lot of Port Adelaide people will actually like to win this game considering the opponent. Round 20 at the G. We haven't played at the G since we played Richmond in round 13. It's been one of those years where Port fans rock up every single week, no matter what's been happening, and we have a sense of belief that we can do the job, and we've had that multiple weeks now and just haven't quite pulled off the circumstances. And well, it's the 2 teams this week, Port and Collingwood, that have had played many a close games this year. Port Adelaide have played 6 games where it's been decided by 12 points or less, and we've lost 6 of them. And the only one we did actually win was against Gold Coast. So multiple games that we finished by less than 2 goals, and it's compared to Collingwood, who have actually won pretty much all of them, is a recipe for disaster this week at the G, because I reckon it could go either way in terms of what will happen. If Collingwood win, I think they absolutely belt us, because the momentum that they get from winning, and a Port Adelaide outfit that might be a bit drained and a bit tired as such in terms of what happens for the rest of the season. Finals are unlikely, and you get to that stage where you feel like you can't give as much as you'd like because of the circumstances. Whereas Collingwood, they're thriving, they're wanting a top 4 spot, they're in the mix, they keep on winning, and they could absolutely blow us off the park. Or it could roles could reverse, and Port Adelaide could win a tight one, and Collingwood actually lose one for once that's less than 2 goals. And I think if Port Adelaide do end up winning this game, it'll only be by 2-3 goals max. And it's at the G. We've had a lot of trouble against the Pies at the G of late, and we'll remember that 2018 game against Collingwood at the MCG, where we basically rocked up. We were in a spot for finals, and basically if we won that game, we would have cemented a spot in the top 8, but got blown off the park by 50-odd points, and our season was pretty much over after that. And it's a tale of the same thing this time, where we rock up at the G. We're playing a very, very good Collingwood outfit, and there's a lot to play out still this season. I do think the coaching panel will have a bit of a plan for this week's game, especially with the likes of De Goey and Grundy as potential ins for Collingwood. And, they've got some red-hot players in form. The Dacosses are playing some great footy. We know Penderbury's still putting out, and the forward line of Collingwood's actually really, really potent with Myercheck, and young Ash Johnson's really proven to be quite a handful. And we know the old slide under the radar, Jack Ginnivan, is going to be there as well, or thereabouts. And we've seen the controversy that's come from what's happened over the last multiple weeks now with his high tackles, and especially the last week with Mason Redmond and Ginnivan, that not being paid. I just get the feeling that coming into this week, every bloody high tackle in the book will be paid for Jack Ginnivan, because I just know that against Port, they're going to blow that bloody whistle. We saw it last week against Geelong. The whistle was blown every single time for a free kick against. If it was the slightest, it went Geelong's way, and it will happen again this week, I think, with Jack Ginnivan and co. But Port Adelaide have just got to take their chances and really be on from the outset. We've been a pretty good starting side of late, but it's seen that second quarter that we've died off in games, and it happening against Geelong, happening against Fremantle. And I just feel like that going into the Collingwood game, we have to do pretty much the same thing, and just really try and implement a process where we spread out the momentum. It's not we put all our eggs in one basket. We play ripper first quarter, ripper third quarter, hang on in the last quarter, and the second quarter is nowhere to be seen. Spread it out, lads. Spread out the momentum across all 4 quarters, and I reckon we'll have a decent buffer by the end of it. And we're a very, very good side. I'm not going to take away that being in 11th spot at the moment is saying we're a bad side. It's just the fact that results haven't gone our way. We haven't been in the right position. We haven't taken the chances when we have been in the right position, and we've just got to learn from that. And coming into this week, it should be no different. You're playing at the MCG, you take that opportunity to play at the MCG, and you really try and work your way towards defending yourself against that forward line and really moving the ball well and taking the momentum out of the Collingwood crowd. We know there'll be a decent crowd down. I know there'll be a very, very good travelling crowd for Port Adelaide fans as well. So, and in terms of selection, I think Houston's going to be missing. He's got that 12-day concussion protocol, so he won't be playing this week, which is unfortunate. That's a really big out in terms of ball movement and his skill set. So coming into this one, you're looking at possibly bringing in a ruckman, especially with Grundy and Cameron, who's been in elite form, and Grundy could come back into the side. They might double team. Then you've got Mason Cox there as well that you might have to really defend, and we have a really small side in terms of defending the really, really big blokes. So maybe we look at bringing in Teakle and spreading out our tall guys, and maybe if Finlayson drops down back, or just really trying to make sure we have another key backman or a key tool somewhere around the ground, because I'd be happy to use Teakle and Dixon as the two ruck combination and Finlayson float a bit more. I think that might work. Then Orazio kicking 3 goals last week. I'm throwing him in this week. Give him an opportunity to play. And if he doesn't perform or he gets injured, then so be it. He's got an off season to really try and get himself absolutely right, which at the moment just seems like he'll never do. But give him an opportunity. You throw him in there. I think you keep the likes of Burgoyne in the side. He's got to learn how AFL footy works, and dropping him after a couple of games is just not going to do that. And the other one I'm bringing back in, and is actually a replacement for Houston, is Trent Dumont. He was fantastic until he got HS protocols and a calf issue when he went out, and I think he's a really good role player and could play an instrumental role this week as well. So I reckon he comes in for Houston, and it really creates a nice balance. Fantasia comes in with a bit of pace up front, and opens up the doors for Rosie and Butters. Then I'm throwing in Teakle's the big ruck stock, and maybe the other person that comes out is Willem Drew. I think not so much a selection statement. I just think we need a midfielder that's in there. Having Butters and Rosie together working as permanent midfielders might be the go, instead of Drew, who, he's a tackling machine and he's a really defensively great midfielder, but skill set wise, it just doesn't work when he does get the footy. He doesn't get a lot of it. And just pace as well. We got burnt on pace last week when it mattered, and decision making is another thing. So having Rosie and Butters in there, they're bouncy, they've really got energy, and they bring it a lot in that midfield. Having Dumont around the ground, can replace that Drew role as such, but also he can run off half back and play at half forward, and he's a real role player. So I think Drew could be an option to leave out. There is a couple of others that obviously can be dropped as well, but it's up to the selection panel. But they're the 3 I'd really look at bringing in, because I think they'll make a big difference. Final word, a tip for Port, tipping us by 13 points. Another close game. I do have some confidence that we can knock them off. You only go so far into a season winning the close games, and eventually that will catch up to you. And I think the Pies, it will either go 2 ways this week, as I said. We'll either get pumped or we win a close one. I don't think we're going to pump the Pies, but we could. You never know. And playing at the MCG is always pretty special. So we just got to take all in and really, get a win on the board, and let's cause some havoc going into the end of the season. We might not be able to make it, and whatever small mathematical chance that we're relying on, forget that. Just play some footy. Just have some fun. Last 4 games of the year. Let go of all this criteria, this expectation, the pressure. Forget finals. Play 4 games of football going into the end of the year. Have some fun. Play some attacking footy. Play like the third quarter last week against the Cats. They looked like we had no worries in the world. It was a training drill for a full quarter. Got to do that for 4 quarters this week, and we'll pump the Pies. So just enjoy the footy. Last 4 games. We're not going to see footy until next year after this is done. We're not making finals, and if we do, bloody hell, the gods have looked after us somehow. But we've burned ourselves in the foot. Let's just have some fun. And to the fans on their position with the coach and everything like that, everyone has an opinion. They are entitled to one. It comes from both parties. It comes, Collingwood have the same position in terms of what they think of Ginnivan and everything like that. Just don't put graffiti and stickers and stuff on club property. Like, it's not proving any point. Yeah, it's raising the awareness of it, but it's just petty. And in saying that, thank you very much for watching this preview. My name's Anthony, and look forward to hearing your thoughts about this week's game. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. For plenty more Port Adelaide and AFL content coming your way across the rest of the season. And yeah, on our way to 5K, so hopefully you jump on board. My name's Anthony, and as always, go on the Pear.